बताएगा?
within an hour or so.
हाँ तो मेल लिख के फिर जो भी है.
Okay, and the juggernaut is rolling. We are on the road once again. This time we are in Melbourne and heading to Adelaide. The Indian team has already left from this airport. They are about an hour ahead of us, so we're going to land an hour after the Indian team touches down in Adelaide. And I was lucky enough to bump into the skipper.
Rohit Sharma.
Rohit Sharma was taking baby food for his daughter in the airport here.
Baby food?
Yeah, special food needs to be taken for kids, na?
Sumara is not a baby anymore. I think she's...
I mean, like for example, she's the same age as my daughter. They don't eat spicy things and
maybe
you know,
a burger.
Burger, sandwich, something you
Oh.
have to take, which is sometime in the flight you don't get. And we don't know. So you know,
Exactly.
in Australia, other than Qantas, everywhere else
You've
you don't
got to
get
pay
too
for your food.
and you don't get too many choices also. So maybe he is well prepared for the flight, even though the flight is very short from here, just about an hour-long flight from Melbourne to Adelaide. But the Indian team has left, and they must be a happy bunch at the moment. They've topped their group, convincing performance. Few little fixes that they were looking at, they may have found that as well. One of them being KL Rahul, now has got runs in both games. Ashwin wasn't amongst the wickets. He's picked up wickets. So you think it will be a happy camp at the moment, India?
It will be a very happy camp. I mean, you've topped the league. You've played outstanding cricket. People might say India were lucky to beat Pakistan, lucky to beat Bangladesh. I mean, you won just by a whisker. But
There was a lot of hard work.
but
Ashwin
that-
said,
yeah, but
when you
Nikhil,
said, oh, you won, he said, hey, don't say we won.
so that's
easy.
the essence
There was
of
lot
a
hard
good
work.
team. Good teams never give up.
Yeah.
I mean, those 15 minutes or those 15 seconds that matter, only the brave wins. So I would say that India were not just plain lucky to beaten to have beaten Pakistan or to have beaten Bangladesh. They knew what they were doing, and you know, they never gave up. I think.
Oh, Himanshu is saying don't have to bear the burden. We may be on for
Yeah.
20 minutes, so give your shoulders some relaxation.
Just
What if
shedding
they
off.
need a
There's
bowler?
this monkey off my back.
Okay, which South Africa is carrying. So Temba Bavuma has said, we are carrying the monkey on our back.
Forever and ever.
Forever.
So, India, I think you know, there are a couple of loopholes that the Indians still have going into the semi-finals. The semi-finals will be a different ball game altogether. I think England have the advantage of having played more knockout games in the recent past than India. You know, they're the world champions in 50-50, so that gives them the edge. But India now they'll be tested because the semi-final is one barrier they've not been able to cross in the World Cup or in earlier tournaments as well. So one big knockout game and that half an hour that goes against India, that is what they've got to be careful about. I think if the openers could get runs on the board, India got the game and the team to beat England.
And the other good thing India would be looking forward to is coming back to Melbourne, because no team has played 2 matches in Melbourne. I think Pakistan the only other team that got to play 1 match. Other than that, most matches were washed out.
Yes.
And I think England played Ireland, which was also 1 game, which
And
was a
they lost.
reduced game. So
And 2 games were washed out.
Yeah, so India, I imagine, have the advantage of knowing the conditions in Melbourne twice, and that too, by the way, they did both things. They chased against Pakistan, they batted first against Zimbabwe.
And there's
So
been a
nobody knows
shift
the
in India's
conditions.
game plan.
Yeah.
There's been a shift in India's game plan. In normally, you know, in T20s, India have been one team which prefers chasing, and in this tournament, we've seen them wanting to bat first. And in I think big games, teams would want to bat first. I don't know what's going to happen in Adelaide. If you win the toss in the semi-finals, would you want to bat first, put runs on the board, but you'll have to also take the early pressure, or would you rather want to chase, knowing that the Adelaide strip will be good for batting? So that's one game plan that the Indians will travel to Adelaide, assess the pitch, the conditions, and then decide. But I think one change, again, I don't know if that is going to happen. One weakness that the Indians have right now is the unexpected quarter, the spin.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the other 3 teams. Pakistan, Shadab and Nawaz have bowled very well. Look at England, look at New Zealand. Their spinners have bowled very well. India somehow, Ashwin's picked up wickets now, but Akshar Patel has been very, very ordinary. So I don't know if you would want to test Yuzi Chahal a right-arm leg spinner on that wicket against England, traditionally not very good players of leg spin, or would you then say, oh, this is the semi-finals, we can't take the risk?
No, I think Akshar, by the way, when he started, when he was a replacement for Jadeja, that time people were worried whether he'll be able to replace. In fact, he looked better as a bowler compared to Jadeja to start with. But that was Indian conditions that were suiting him. Here, I think the Australian pitch is not suiting his style of bowling. But even then, you're
The
in
margin
a
of
quandary.
error for him is
Yeah.
very, very
But you're
negligible.
in a bit of a catch-22. What do? You can't drop him because you need an all-rounder. The only way you drop him, which they've done in the past, is bring Deepak Hooda. But you don't get Deepak Hooda to bowl. So then he will play. And you can't bring in Yuzi for Akshar because of his batting, Akshar. And in a situation, I'm trying to think from the team management, in a situation where team says they need a batsman at number 8, and that's why Ashwin plays ahead of Yuzi, how will they ever risk of pushing an Ashwin at 7 and
That's
get
an unfortunate scenario. I think
one way he can be fitted in?
is,
Harshal Patel coming in.
but
Because he gives that
but
batting
again,
option.
you know, you
But
would
won't
not
do
want
that.
to disturb
Exactly.
Bhuvneshwar, Arshdeep, and Shami. They've bowled their hearts out.
I agree.
In
So-
fact, among the medium pacers, you look at the Indians. They've been one of the better teams in this World Cup. It's the spin that has been India's weakness.
So, as unfortunate as it is at the moment, because of what we've explained, I mean, and I know this Indian team looks at these combinations and matchups and things like that. It's unfortunate that Yuzi is not going to get a chance. How do you fit him in?
Again, you know, that's one risk that the Indians must be considering. I'm not saying that they will do it, because
I
right
don't
arm
see
leg
it as a
spinner.
risk. I feel he should play in the
No
11.
risk, as in
Their mindset, it may be a risk.
You make
India.
your tail longer while batting.
But
Would you
Sunny
rather?
Bhai said that if you're going to, because the Indian team management said, no, we need number 8 and that's why we're playing
Yeah.
Ashwin. But Sunny Bhai said a very valid point the other day. He said, if you're going to rely on number 8 batting to help you win games,
See,
then, you know, God
All
save
said
you.
and done, all
7
said and
has to
done,
do.
Ashwin won you the game against Pakistan.
No, but that,
He-
you think
he
Bhuvi,
scored that,
Bhuvi could have done the same? You don't, you
See,
reckon?
unfortunately, Bhuvneshwar has not been able to give you confidence.
But I'm saying that was one. One was a wide. The
Whatever,
other was a,
whatever.
Was a
But I think
four.
Bhuvneshwar.
But he got crucial runs in that
Yes.
last game. I
Against
agree.
Bangladesh also.
Against Bangladesh, Ashwin got very crucial runs. I agree.
Exactly.
But I'm saying, I mean, it's unfortunate in a tournament where every other team is playing a leggy, and you have probably one of the best leg spinners. I'm telling, okay, give me if
Tough
Yuzi
being
was
Yuzi Chahal.
if Yuzi Chahal was part of any team
He would have been in the 11.
in the 11, right? It's only India where he doesn't find a spot.
That's the problem.
That's
That's the problem.
unfortunate.
England.
What do you know?
Are
What do you,
they-
I want to know from you about Rishabh Pant. So they brought him in that moment. He didn't make full use of that opportunity. Now the problem is that you've taken DK out. I agree, DK was not getting that. But what DK gave you was batting at number 6, which is why you brought him. Now your problem is because you bring Pant in, and I understand why they are bringing, because most bowlers that bringing taking the ball away from right-handers have been doing well across teams. So you thought, okay, in semis you might fail Adil Rashid, so let's get Pant
And
used to it
shorter
now.
side boundaries.
Right.
And also.
But how does he bat at 6? Neither
no.
Hardik nor Pant.
No,
Nobody can bat at 6.
But that's the problem. Dinesh Karthik has not got runs.
Yes, but he's a specialist at that
No,
6.
that's fine.
But,
Yeah, you've
but
got to
these
do
are
the
top
job.
order batsmen.
You've got to do the job.
So
He's
can
not been able
Hardik and Pant do the job at 6?
No, they just
they
need
be
to.
okay to bat at
They
number
just
6?
need to define their roles. Hardik Pandya, when he started off, was batting at number 6, 7 for India. He was somebody who could score 20 odd runs in 8 balls. Now he's scoring 18 of 18, which means that he has changed his game plan, or the team has told him to change his game plan. But that can be altered. Somebody who can hit a 6 now can hit a 6 months from now also.
Yeah.
So it's not as if your role cannot be changed. Secondly, let Rishabh Pant be a floater. Let him be a floater. If you want to use him against Adil Rashid, send him in. You can.
Who bats at 6 then?
Pant can. Why would
But
you
if
want?
he's a floater who's batting up?
So that's what I'm saying. You need to be flexible. So it's not as if Pant can't bat at number 6 or Pant. See, the problem with Pant also is, and I'm not defending him. You've been changing the goalpost for him every 3 months.
Yeah.
He started off in the middle order. Then he was pushed to number 6. Then he was asked to open. Then he was dropped. So how do you give him confidence? How do you give him confidence? And yesterday I know that he threw away that opportunity.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know, what is sanity? What does Virat Kohli do? What does KL Rahul do? They take time. They settle down. They rely on Surya Kumar Yadav. They know that Surya Kumar Yadav is going to come, and once Surya Kumar Yadav plays his shots, so can we. We'll make up.
So
And
everyone has to rely
I think
on
that's the
Surya
mistake.
Kumar
That's
Yadav.
the mistake Rohit Sharma is also making. That's
Yeah.
the mistake Rishabh Pant also made. Look at how KL Rahul, Virat Kohli, and even Hardik Pandya bat. They know that let us settle down, and then the later half of our inning we'll get the runs. Virat that way has been very mature. Yesterday on the scoreboard, those runs and those balls will look ordinary, but he was well settled. It's just that he got out.
So what I'm saying, if everyone bats like that, you're only going to rely on Surya Kumar to give you
That
that
is
impetus,
a risk.
and everyone should bat
That
like
is a risk.
Then how will
That
you
is
get
a
a
risk.
match-winning total? Yeah.
Virat, I would still understand. I think the way
Yeah.
that he's been batting
So Pant
is
can't. Pant now can't
no
bat
Pant
like
can't,
that.
but
Hardik cannot bat like that now.
But Hardik has been. You allowed him to. Hardik played one knock against Pakistan. That too, Virat won you the game. But it was a partnership, all right? Yesterday also, he scored 18 of 18 against Zimbabwe. And at one stage, you were in danger of getting to what? About 140, 145 only.
Yes.
Which would have been very risky.
That's what worries
Very
me.
risky.
The
So
day
Surya
Sky
Kumar-
doesn't fire.
But again, big
I'm worried
players,
for this
the
Indian
big
batting.
players, they rise to the occasion. And Surya Kumar has been. I would say that England would be fearing Surya Kumar Yadav the most right now. Remember that century that he took off them in England, even though India lost that game? That was one of the best T20 knocks ever. And the way he's been batting, see, he can get out, he can make mistakes, or there could be a good catch or a good ball or some bad luck. But teams will struggle to bowl to him because no matter whatever you see of him and you plan against him, he is going to do something.
I agree. But what will
Different.
happen the day you say, na, he is very consistent.
I
God
hope-
forbid if that
I
game
hope-
is a semi
I
or
hope-
a final. He
I
doesn't
hope
go.
the next two games
No, I also
he
hope.
does not fail.
But what if that happens? Is India ready
See, that
to
is where
win a game
that
the
is
day he
where
doesn't
I'll,
do well?
I'll show you. You've got this fire extinguisher here. You got such things in your office as well.
Yes.
When was the last time you read that the Melbourne airport was on fire?
No, I can't remember.
But you've got to prepare for it. And maybe that is what they've been preparing number 7 and then number 8. The number 7 and the number 8 haven't really come into play till now. They might at some stage. And that is where Surya Kumar Yadav, I think, again, I would say Virat is the glue. But Surya Kumar Yadav is somebody who can win you a game in 20 balls. You know, he bats for 20 odd balls, 25 balls. He gets to a 60. The way he bats. And England,
think
very good T20 side, Nikhil, but they are also struggling.
No, I have full confidence in an English team panicking when it comes to crunch games. I'm not saying that if you look at the batting lineup of England, very good, outstanding, but their bowling can go for a lot of runs. And England have had batting collapses. They barely made it versus Sri Lanka. And as for Surya Kumar Yadav, he could just be the Yuvraj Singh of the 2011 World Cup. Huh? What Yuvraj did, he was
Exactly.
the X factor. Maybe Sky is that. I just hope that on a given day, that listen, he's batting like a superhuman, but he's not God. There could be that one day where his shots don't come off. I know he thinks of 3 shots for every ball. but
Yuvraj
that day-
failed in the semi-finals against Pakistan.
Yeah.
Somebody else won you the game. Yuvraj didn't have to bat longer in the finals.
yeah.
Somebody else won you the game. So it's just that the Indians need to believe in themselves.
So you need a Sachin, you need a Dhoni, like Sachin
Virat.
in the semis.
I think Virat's
Need a
role that,
Dhoni or a
that way
Gambhir.
is very important. I wish that Rohit Sharma also gets runs. Because once Rohit Sharma gives himself 35, 38, 40 deliveries, he's somebody who'll get a 70 or 80. That is what India needs.
Okay.
And it's a smaller boundary comparatively. If the English bowlers are going to bowl short at him, these hooks and the pulls will go out.
Yes.
Rohit Sharma needs to give himself time like KL Rahul does. That could be selfish,
But if
but then
everyone gives themselves time,
but he's
who's
the,
the
captain.
one who's going to
but
bat
he's
at
the
200?
captain.
Only Sky.
But he's the captain.
Yeah, he can. I
The
agree.
captain can tell KL Rahul instead
I
that
think-
you are the one who's got to go off the blocks.
I think he's become a bit more careful in this World Cup. Just that he's so instinctively going to play that pull shot gets out, which in Indian grounds would have been a 6.
That is what cricket
So,
does.
that's instincts.
That's what exactly was happening with Virat also, no?
Yes.
Before the Asia Cup, he would not know if he was going to bat like this or that.
Yeah.
And that is where the struggle is. One good innings. Again, you never know. These are important games. MS Dhoni, the entire 2011 World Cup was slightly ordinary. The finals, he rose to the occasion. maybe it is Rohit Sharma's time. I mean, I'm not saying
Maybe
that.
Hardik Pandya.
Yes, and I'm not saying that it is going to be India, Pakistan in the finals like everybody is. Pakistan first need to beat New Zealand, and then India need to beat England. I am
Exactly.
very confident. We are all very confident of India getting the better of England. That'll happen on the field. Those 40 overs, not before that, not after that.
Okay, completely out of time because our flight is going to be departing very soon. So, by the way, the other thing that Rahul Dravid mentioned after the game, saying that because a lot of people are writing, is this the end of DK's career? He said just because one person hasn't played one game doesn't mean it's the end of the career. According to situation, according to game plans, and we've seen it with the Indian team, they keep changing. So you never know what happens in the playing 11. We'll keep updating you. So don't forget to subscribe to Sports Today.
See you in Adelaide.
Update coming from
In the next 2
Adelaide.
hours.
Bye bye. See you. Vanakkam.